Bred to Win, brought to you by Arrowfield, the home of four-time champion sire Schnitzel.
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to a mid-autumn Bred to Win, coming to you from the Brad Widdop Stables here at Hawkesbury Racecourse on the outskirts of Sydney, as we bring you star Chairman Sale mare Icebath as those closest to her prepare to say goodbye. Also, the latest Bloodstock happenings in Aushorse news. One of Australasia's most influential individuals, Sir Peter Vella of New Zealand Bloodstock and Pencarrow Stud, and Ross Hatton of South Australia's Rathmore Lodge with a personal tale in Arrowfield Stud's Horse Who Made You Love Racing. Verso, the latest breeding info and results in Aushorse news.
A Ferris Weaver, a half on Presenia March.
With a large number of stakes races right around the country, there are a few in particular to note, starting with the Group 1 Australasian Oaks in Adelaide. The winner, A Fair Suivre, is a daughter of Darley's sire Astern, his second Group 1 winner after Golden Miles Caulfield Guineas. She was a $75,000 NZB yearling, sold by Ainsley Downs to First Light, Paul Willits and trainers Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace. Astern, a son of Medaglia d'Oro, descends from champion filly Trisquet and will stand for $22,000 at Darley's Hunter Valley base in 2023. It was a big weekend for the Rosemont team in Victoria with two stakes-winning fillies. Homebred Treasure Way by Star Spangled Banner took out the Group 2 SA Breeders' Stakes, with their former resident sire returning to Australia this year to Coolmore Stud in New South Wales. Rosemont also bred and raced Legacies, winner of the listed Anzac Day Stakes at Sandown, from the family of Annenkov Artiste Royale and Aqua Eliste. Her sire Justify was confirmed through the week as returning to Coolmore Stud this season, with a fee yet to be announced.
In front, Perfect Thought, lifting Kovalika.
As the Queensland Winter Carnival kicks off the star performances on Saturday at Eagle Farm, with the ultra-impressive Kovalika beating Perfect Thought in a high-class Group 2 Queensland Guineas. Kovalika is a rising star for the Wallace stable, racing in the Neville Morgan colours as an NZB yearling, sold by Curramore to Guy Mulcaster for $110,000. And Queensland favourite Rothfire was back to his best as Rob Heathcote, son of Rothsay, took out the Group 2 Victory Stakes. In Western Australia, the Group 2 WA Sires Produce Stakes went to one of the most exciting two-year-olds in the land, Super Smink, a daughter of I Am Invincible's sire son, Super One. On a rich day of Group 1 racing at Hatton on Sunday, Australian-bred Golden 60 passed the worldwide earnings record of champion mare Winx when he won his third successive Hong Kong Champions Mile. He was bred at Queensland's Element Hill and was originally a $120,000 Magic Millions yearling before being on-sold at the NZB Ready to Run sale. He's by Medaglia d'Oro from distorted humour mare Gordemus. In Stallion news, Arrowfield Stud has set four-time champion Stallion Schnitzel's fee at $247,500, with the son of Redout's Choice siring a stakes winner on average at around every 13 days, including, of course, this season's Golden Slipper winner Shinzo. Dundeal's fee rises to $82,500, largely off the back of the success of dual Group 1 winning two-year-old Militarize. Arrowfield bred sire Pariah is to stand at Queensland's Oakland Stud this season. The son of Redout's Choice and sire of exciting two-year-old Swiss Exile will stand for $8,800.
Stronger's in front, Skyfield, he's in for a fight, it's the Chestnuts.
Aquas Farm will stand another Arrowfield bred young stallion, Stronger, in Queensland, with the Ken Russell Memorial winner graduating to win the Group 1 Hong Kong Centenary Sprint Cup. Stronger is a son of Not a Single Doubt from a Starcraft mare and will stand for $13,750. And Written Stud has confirmed its new stallion in Victoria will be the Blue Gum Farm sold Brookner, always an outstanding individual whose career was curtailed through injury. The $725,000 Inglis Premier sales topper is a son of Snitzel and won the McNeil Stakes. He's from the family of Jukebox and Group 1 winner It's a Him. Also in Victoria, Yulong Farm announced Japanese Group 2 winner Diatonic will stand in the new season. The son of Lord Kanaloa, who's sire of resident Yulong stallion Tagaloa, Diatonic is from a Sunday Silence mare from an outstanding international family, while his fee has been set at $13,750. This week's G1 Goldmine analysis focuses on the cross between champion sire Written Tycoon and mares by another champion sire, Fastnet Rock. Generally, Fastnet's rate of mares producing stakes winners runs at 4.82% stakes winners to runners, but when crossed with Yulong Farm's Written Tycoon, that rises to an impressive 13.33%, a 177% increase in the mare's performance. Sons of Written Tycoon worth looking at if you have a Fastnet Rock mare, a Banquo, the full brother to Booker at Waikato Stud, at the low end of service fees, through to the exciting young Vinery stud sire Ole Kirk and proven Golden Slipper winner Capitalist at Newgate Farm. Other value price stallions who fit the bill are Widden's Dirty Work, Coringle's Finance Tycoon, Woodside Park's Rich Enough and Grandview Stud's Winning Rupert.
Dunwoody, 100 metres to go.
The Inglis Graduate of the Week is VRC St Ledger winner Dunwoody, a first stakes winner for his four-time Group 1 winning sire Preferment. And it was topical timing too, with the 3-year-old a bargain $5,000 buy at the Inglis Gold Sale, which comes up this year on Sunday, May 14. Dunwoody was sold by Yulong Farm, who are shareholders in his sire Preferment, who stands at New Zealand's Bright Hill Farm, one of very few sire sons of the great Zabeel, and an elite winner of races such as the Victoria Derby, the BMW and Australian Cup. The Inglis Chairman's Sale is on Thursday, May 4 at the Riverside Complex in Sydney. And here we're going to focus on one of the stars of the show, the Group 1 winning mare Icebath. I wanted to find out what it's like for those closest to her to prepare her for sale and what are their hopes for the future.
But Icebath's come from last and she wins the invitation, beating Rocket Clock.
But Icebath, such a trier, such a brave mare and won it.
Rosie, we can see the love you have for this beautiful mare Icebath, and you've been with her, riding her right from when she first came to the stables. What were your first impressions of her? What sort of a feel did she give you, and what sort of character did she have from the outset?
From day one, she's always shown her personality and character. She has definitely been very quirky since the start, and I think that's what drew me to her. You know, those good mares always have a few quirks about them, and I think that's what makes them so great.
Can you tell, a lot of people, track riders will say, I get a really good sort of, an idea that this horse will cover the ground well, or, the very early fast work. Did you sort of have a feel that she could be something elite?
Yeah, I did. Straight away, I thought, my very first gallop on her, I said to Brad, I think this one goes good. And actually at the time, I wasn't riding track work very long, so, I wouldn't have really known what a good race horse felt like, but there was just something about her. She she definitely gave you a good feel under saddle.
Tell us about, what it's like when you take a horse like this to the races and they, she's obviously now a Group 1 winner, but all those placings in Group 1 races and the $1 million races, etc. It must be so exciting every time you get off that float at the track.
Oh, it's a feeling that I can't describe to people. She is loved by so many different people, whether they have backed her or not, or even if she hasn't won, the crowd just absolutely love her. I remember at Flemington, before she won her Group 1, everybody knew who she was. They were asking, oh, is that Icebath, is that Icebath? And I say yes, and they'd start screaming and cheering her name, and same at Randwick, I remember, come on Icebath, and things like that. It makes you sort of, think to yourself, oh wow, this horse really is incredible, and she just is loved by so many.
Yeah, and it goes beyond racing too, and it goes beyond punting. I mean, we hear punters, oh, that horse, got second or third, but try getting a horse good enough to be second or third in a Group 1. It's really good to show the love of the horse and what they mean to people behind the scenes, because this is about so much more than just having a bet or being at the races, seeing horses winning. There's all this behind it.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and I feel like, the strappers and track work riders are in the behind picture, but so doing things like this, it's really nice to get our voice out and to let people know how hard and the love we put in to the horse, and especially a horse like Icebath. She's definitely, as I said before, got her quirks, and she's one of those mares you really have to know, and I think that's what makes our bond so special. And just being at the races with her and listening to everyone, it's really special. She's quite a quirky mare. I think you've got to be a bit on your game with her, but as I said before, I know her so well, and it really helps that I know exactly what spot on her body she doesn't like. I know when she's going to, say, pick a leg up or put her ears back at me or anything like that, and that's what makes our connection so incredibly great, because I just know her inside out.
And she has swooped down the middle to blow them away. Icebath, Kira McAvoy teaming up with Brad Widdop to win the $2 million invitation.
It's such a privilege, and it's a dream come true. It really is. When you buy a horse, you think, you dream, you hope what you could possibly achieve with them. And with her, she's completely excelled everything we ever thought we could do with her. You start by saying you just want to win a race, then you just want to run on a Saturday, then you want to win a Saturday race, then all of a sudden you dream of black type. And then when you get so close to it and you start to achieve these things, then you go, let's dream even bigger and let's go after a Group 1. And for her to do all of that in her career is just such an amazing feat, and she's got such a special place for all of us, the owners, but also for all of the Widdop Racing stable and anyone that's had anything to do with her.
We don't have them all the time and forever necessarily, but the great thing is that you'll be able to watch a mare like this no matter where she is, and I'm sure you'll be able to go and see her in the future too.
Yeah, I hope so. I will be obviously following her, and whenever I get a chance to go and visit her, if she's around and in Australia, I will be there. She's very, very special to me and means the world. So letting her go is very difficult. I will struggle, definitely not seeing her face over the door every day, but I'm excited for this next part of her journey.
You're going to be taking her through the ring as well?
Yes, I will be taking her through the ring. I think it's a lovely way to end our journey. So I'm excited, but sad at the same time.
An Icebath over on the inside. Leclerc just in front of Icebath and Mirror Vision.
And when you look at winning that Group 1, winning the Empire Rose, we could see the joy with yourself and Dave Bashir and the other owners when she won the Empire Rose. Tell us about, she deserved it. It was the right thing to happen, wasn't it?
You have so many nerves going into a race like that, and you just don't know what the expectation is going to give you. You don't know where you're going to finish. She wanted it. It was her day. It was 90 seconds of jubilation, but it was a culmination of years of racing, and it really was. It was just emotion, it was frustration, it was relief, it was everything, all in such a short space of time. And I think that's why we're in racing. We hope to get moments like that. We're fortunate enough to have it. I don't know if we're ever going to have it again, but that's what we all want to do. And to get it, it's just dream come true stuff.
To get a Group 1 win for her was very special, and just for the owners right through, we've had a fantastic run her whole career, my staff. She's very loved much at home, and there's been a lot of tears leading up to this sale, so you know, she's going to be missed, she's going to be hard to replace, but gee, she's been a fantastic mare.
It's really hard. I mean, the decision for us to sell Icebath is purely one that we're not breeders, and there's others that are in the game, and you can be different parts of this industry, and that's where your expertise sits, and ours isn't in breeding. It'll be emotional for all of us, it really is. Rosie in particular, I mean, you know, her and Icebath, we tend to look at them as two girlfriends that have been hanging out for a long, long time.
Best mates.
They are best mates who have such a rapport, and it's going to be hard for Rosie as well. It's going to be hard for the Widdups. It's going to be hard for the McGraths, the Bashirs and the Rufuses, all of us that are going to say goodbye to this great mare. But we want to keep in touch with her, and you know, the light at the end of the tunnel is maybe we might one day pick up an Icebath foal, but I don't know, they might be super expensive, but you know, we want to think that there's still more in this story.
Yeah, she definitely has a big personality, so somebody will enjoy working with her in the future, and I hope that they'll love her as much as I have done, and I can't wait for her next chapter.
Always an emotional time when those involved in a racehorse prepare for them to move on. Coming up after the break on Bred to Win, one of the great minds of the Australasian breeding industry, Sir Peter Vella.
Aromatic coming after it from St. Alice.
The Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week again features their great clients and friends Tiakau Racing, as Aromatic was successful in the Group 2 Travers Stakes at Te Rapa on Saturday. By the late Waikato stud Stallion Sacred Falls, sire of star mare Icebath, Aromatic was a $160,000 NZB yearling from Milan Park, bought by David Ellis. The 6-year-old is from Group 3 winning Don Eduardo mare Vicky's Chardonnay, a half-sister to stakes winners the Mighty Finn and 50-50. Aromatic will now spell and chase a first Group 1 success in the spring. The Vella family's New Zealand Bloodstock conducts one of the world's great sales every January in Karaka, and they also, of course, have Penkaro Stud, which has influenced the breed for generations through the likes of the great ethereal family. I caught up with Sir Peter Vella at Karaka earlier in the year to find out what it is that makes the Kiwi breds have such a great record in Australia's greatest races.
Aiming at the Sir Patrick Hogan Auditorium.
Sir Peter, it's fabulous, I think, for not only Australians but everybody to be back here at Karaka. What's been your feeling, the vibe of this sale? I think, you know, leading into it, everyone was so excited that things are pretty much back to normal.
Well, we certainly were. We've looked forward to it for a fair time now, and our Aussie friends were back, and they've come back, and look, we couldn't be happier with the catalogue, with the people that are here and the way it started.
Rockin' Horse, the centre, just in front of Nature Strip. Rockin' Horse.
It all is about, I guess, racetrack success, isn't it? That's what everyone's trying to aim to breed, is the good horse. And gee, the record of the Kiwis in Australia, you know, obviously we've had Derby winners, Oaks winners, Guineas winners, but, you know, a Rockin' Horse winning two Group 1 sprints in Australia, it really covers all bases.
It was amazing, wasn't it? That was a wonderful result for us, and if you're lucky enough to have a good climate and grow good grass, good staff, good people, and our history's been based on the fact that we breed for Australia by and large, although we haven't totally succumbed to breeding fast horses. We still feel that there's a place for the New Zealand bred in the Australian calendar, and I think that's proven by the great judges from Australia that have been here looking since November, and were here yesterday buying.
I know Chris Waller always says, there are a lot of imports that are bought, by so many owners to race in Australia and staying races, but you can't race them as, well, you can to a degree, as 3-year-olds and so on, but it's less likely you're going to have a 3-year-old that can be able to win a Guineas or an Oaks or a Derby, and that's been the real forte, hasn't it?
Yeah, no question about that. There's a place for those stayers, European stayers. Everyone still dreams of a Derby or an Oaks or a Guineas, or that'll keep us going for a while.
But the stallion strength in New Zealand, everywhere it ebbs and flows. Obviously, you have your great champions, Sir Tristram and Zabeel and O'Reilly, and now Savabeel, obviously an 8-time champion sire. But it's so exciting seeing the new breed of, the Proziers and even Vadamos are trying to Aladdin, some of those horses are shocking. Perencanto obviously doing a great job. It's so important, isn't it, the next generation to really kick off?
Yeah, no doubt about it, and the better that they do, the more investment is made in the future. And if you look at the Super Set foals, perfect example that you've got a stud, Waikato stud, champion sire, total dominance, and they're reinvesting it in a sire like him. We're so lucky to have a horse performed in Australia like that, with that pedigree, with his looks, back here and leaving foals that people want to buy.
There's a great camaraderie, isn't there? Everyone, you're competing, everyone has their own business, but a lot of New Zealand studs will get involved in another stud's stallion. So you'll have shareholdings within other stallions and so forth. Tell me about how that works, because you can't go in everything, but everyone supports each other.
We're a pretty small operation, and unless we did that, we wouldn't have any chance of survival. We've got a small foal crop. For that reason, we need to cooperate, and we need to support those that have the courage to bring a stallion in, and we all have to support them. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but there's nothing different about that anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, well, you bred some wonderful stallions. You're looking at your Darcy Brahmas and Burgundies, and consistently getting group winners. Of course, we've lost Burgundy, but the influence that you can have as a broodmare farm on the stallion population is enormous too.
Unbelievable, and we lent a mare once to our commentator George Simon, and he bred Turn Me Loose, and I was talking to him the other day, and it gives him more pleasure than anything else, just every time there's a Turn Me Loose go around. And I know the feeling from Burgundy and Darcy Brahma and those sorts of things, that we've got to do it.
And what drives your passion? So the broodmare farm, we filmed Ethereal at age 25 just recently. She's magnificent. But what drives you? Is it sort of producing that foal that goes on, or is it actually watching them win on the racetrack, watching the next generation? What is it?
Well, I think it's a combination of all those things, and it's changed with me over the last 50 years, and it's just a wonderful industry to be involved with. It was wonderful when it was dreaming about having a bet, and it's wonderful now when you're dreaming about a foal, what it might look like, and then dreaming about whether it'll be able to run, or could it win a nice race. And that's the joy of it, and it's a worldwide, it's an international business, it's international camaraderie. You develop friends all over the world, and there's a lot to be said for it.
Well, one of the great generational breeders, of course, we lost so recently, Sir Patrick Hogan, and what an incredible influence, you see even through, Savabeel, who's a son of Zabeel, son of Sir Tristram, and those broodmare lines, through the 8-carat Maya Tricia, Tyona, and before them. What an incredible influence Sir Patrick was.
It truly was. He was just inspirational, no shadow of doubt, and we're going to miss him terribly. You mentioned him there, and it just reminds me that we've had just a wonderful journey, and Savabeel's not over with it yet, and I'll be surprised if one of his sons doesn't step up as well. And of course, I can't ever forget that Romany Conti was the mother of Ethereal, and Ethereal was sired by another sire of Patrick's called Rhythm, which none of us remember anymore. So, but I do.
Yes, exactly. But it was lovely that naming the auditorium, the Sir Patrick Hogan Auditorium, the main sales ring here at Karaka, and there's a lot of emotion. I think a lot of people feel not seeing Sir Patrick here this year.
It's strange without him. I've never been to a sale that he hasn't been at. So, and he was desperate to be here this week, but it wasn't to be. But his thoughts are with us, I'm sure, and ours are with him.
So where do you see the industry in, say, the next 10 years, the next 20 years? Are things going to change? Is the wagering sort of system going to be more of an advantage to the industry in the future, or how do these things move forward, do you think?
Ooh, that's a very tough one.
That's $1 million question.
That's a very tough one for Monday morning. We've shown in New Zealand that if we produce on a race day good horses, good racing, good jockeys, good tracks, we'll get good wagering. And wagering is what's going to fund our future. We just don't have enough of it. We had the 6 race meeting for the incentive races for the Karaka Millions and so on. Wagering was through the roof. It was magnificent. Everyone had a wonderful day, and it proves that it can be done. But there's a lot of work to be done with all the other aspects that go towards it.
And yeah, the good horses drive wagering, no matter how many numbers of races on the day. Or
good horses, good jockeys, good tracks, good competition, good stakes, and there's not one simple solution, but there is a solution, but it's going to take a bit.
Well, it's been wonderful to be back here. I think everyone's had a great time. Thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome, and thanks for coming back.
Quite extraordinary, the impact of these New Zealand bred horses in Australia's great Group 1 contests. Coming up after the break, Ross Hatton from Rathmore Lodge in South Australia in Arrowfield Studs, horse who made you love racing.
The horse that made me love racing was a horse called Royal Athlete. He was bred by my grandfather, whose farm in Ireland was Rathmore, so hence our farm ended up Rathmore Lodge. So Royal Athlete won the 1995 Aintree Grand National, the big 4.5 mile steeplechase at Aintree. Grandad bred him. He was by a stallion called Rosie out of a mare called Darjoy. It was a little black mare that he bought out of the paddock as a weanling for 400 Irish pounds. And yeah, subsequently he managed to build half the farm around Royal Athlete and various half-sisters and all the family. Royal Athlete, though, he was trained by Jenny Pittman. It was the first time a female trainer had won the Aintree Grand National, and ridden by a jockey called Jason Titley. I'll never forget it. I think I was only about 12 years of age at the time. It really got me interested in racing back then. Grandad was sort of my mentor to be able to continue the tradition in a completely different hemisphere with the name Rathmore. Tremendous. And yeah, I'll always say, if anybody asked me how you get into racing, it was certainly the day it actually clicked in my head was Royal Athlete. Not sure if Mum and Dad were too happy about it initially. They might have expected me to be I don't know, a lawyer, an accountant, or a tradesman, but yeah, no, the horse is my passion. Stuck with it now. I'm not sure what I'd do if I got out of horses.
That's all for this week on Bred to Win. Join me again next week as we review the Inglis Chairman's Sale and hear from Tiakau Racing's David Ellis with Tangerine winners left, right and centre already in 2023. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.
Bred to Win, brought to you by Arrowfield, the home of 4-time champion sire Snitzel.